Hi. Okay, this is for this guidance is being pushed. It was pushed yesterday. One or two things were pushed yesterday to share. But as it comes through, there's just this impulse just to share it now. Everything's now anyway, it's only the now. But then, it was like, no, didn't want to. Anyway, never mind. There's learning, I suppose, as well. When it's coming through, just allow it. You see the same thing of control, trying to block and stop. It's just part of this fun, the game on the rodeo. So I should just allow it just to flow through you, and there we are. It flows through, it just comes through, and you'll realize there's no one thinking here. Absolutely not. There's very much of an awareness that you are not doing any thinking. These are just coming. You have no clue what's going to be said, what's coming out the mouth. It just comes. So here's some guidance and pointers, because this is really going to help people to shift up, to really wake up. No one's really awake. You're on the path, but really awake. To really shift and up another notch, you've got to start inquiring to this illusion, because many on this path, whether they want to call themselves light workers, star seeds, awakened ones, truth seekers, whatever, still believe they are a soul in a body and, in the experience, and this is their, their life and it's separate, exactly. There's me, because you're still seeing separation, okay? If you are still seeing other forms, that means you are still in the Maya. All right. So you are in the illusion, we're in the dream. But now how to realize, so you can stop identifying, right, that you are not the body. It's actually so obvious. That you were never, because the belief is so ingrained and taught in humanity, from parents and everything. It's so ingrained and taught here that you never ever thought to question it. But when you start reflecting on it, meditating, as I say, if you put it out into Siri, the thoughts, the answers come. Because what you focus on and think about, but not trying, it just comes. And then you're like, holy shit, it was always there. You're going to laugh. Many times you laugh and you realize it's so in your face. It's so obvious. And it always has been obvious that you're not the body. Literally. It can come as a fright, and then you're going to be like, ugh. So when you realize you're not the body, everything that happened in the story to this body, which is your life, your story, it's got nothing to do with you. You realize it's like, oh. So what the body owns is the car, the house, is not yours. You own nothing. You have nothing. Because how can you have nothing or own anything when you actually have no body? The body's not yours. And you can ask and inquire, and you will see that very clearly. The body is not, you are not the body. You're not in control of it. You're not doing in it. You're not moving it. Nothing. Literally. And inquire and ask, and it will be shown to you. And you can just sit there and you'll be like, holy shit. And let the self give you a demonstration, and it'll be like, and you'll be sitting there and you'll be like, wow, and you'll know, because you are not trying even, and you know that. Let it show you who's moving the body, who's in control of the body. So here's one thing in which you never questioned about the body, believing we are this form, right? Because it's just, oh yes you are, and John likes this, and when your parents talk to you, my baby, and you identified, everyone's identifying with you as a form. The body is given a name. Oh look, we have a baby, and it's Joe, and it's this, and John. So the body is given a name. Those that believe there's a separate one, the body is given a name, not you. There's no you. The body, and see, you're taught almost, and at school as well, everything. So all the identification is towards whatever the body does, that's you. It's your body. No. Until you start questioning that, and it's obvious, right? I even shared one with the guru the other day who was saying, you don't think. Have you ever been with someone that's died or had a loved one? Okay, they've died, now left. You realize, if you were the body, right? When the body's gone, if you are the actual body, when the body's dead, what's the problem then? How can we say, it's a dead body, but there's no, that essence, that being that you called John, Mary, right, is gone. There's a body there, but there's no John and Mary. So you intuitively know that John and Mary is not the body. The biological body, there is not John or Mary. That is obvious, because there's a dead, stiff body. The body becomes cold and stiff. Why? What leaves the body that can't be measured, that can't be seen? And all the near-death experiences, guess what? They'll tell you this one has been through that. It's also part of the illusion experience that the you is there. And you look at the body and you're like, wow, but I'm still alive. I'm still thinking. This was a huge surprise here because this one had no clue. It was on the awakened path for about a year or so. When, and communicating and all that stuff and tapping in the astrals. When it died, the body died. All right. When the body decided, it had a rough one. This body had a very rough time in this, experience. This body, wow, it had a rough story. So this body, came to a stop and was like, couldn't anymore. So when this experience here was, you leave the body, as I say, but because it's so new to you, you're not actually paying attention to the you. And all you're doing is focusing on the body. So you got this thing, and you slowly start rising, and you're looking down at your own body. Many will tell you this. Watch their thoughts. The Book of the Dead, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, is also a good clue. Because very different stories. This is proving everything is illusion. Because whatever is in here in the beliefs is exactly what they experience if they've believed this after in their near-death experiences. You see, it's all to do with the mind, with thoughts, whatever beliefs in here. Some will believe judge and this and that, depending on whatever. Here there was none, and there wasn't any expectation. You knew there was source now and angels because you were in the astral and woken up and communicated. So you realized there was, that was there. This was on the journey. And poof, the body died. And it left the body, and I was looking. And it was like, wow. Then and the body didn't look well. It's obvious. Dead bodies don't look well. And but the surprising thing to this one was, the awareness was, oh my gosh, I'm not dead. That you feel, how you think, I'm John. I'm alive, I'm feeling. That sense of I am, this me that you feel, this identity, that exists after the body's not there. So the sense of, wow, I'm alive, I feel, I'm thinking, my thoughts, the character remained. It was like, wow, that's what I'm saying, you see, because it was identifying. The character remained, but the body was, eh. And then it was, wow, then the sense of also freedom, because now the sense of freedom and not being restricted. It's like you could now move and go anywhere because there's no body, there's no density. So also the thing of, the density disappeared because the density is held here. All the concentration was focused on here. The minute that focus is removed from that form, you see the energy expanded. So there was all of a sudden expansion, and freedom. And now that, you felt free and you could zip, and it was fun because what this one was doing, I shared it. It was playing with the body, but anyway. So there's just an example, as I say. Then what you believe, the same thing applies there. You immediately shift. So the minute the awareness is on something, boing, the awareness is immediately there. The awareness can focus in on different stories, the planets, because everything is seen and known at the same time. It depends. It's just a choice of focusing. I've explained it to him. I made under my YouTube channel more than once, and the actual videos that I made on Facebook, I've actually linked so if you go to somewhere down the bottom of my YouTube channel, you'll see something about up the tunnel of light, heaven. I went up at all of those I wanted to see. So, because this is playing, it's all illusion. So you tried all of those things. You went up the tunnel of light, yes, you went there. All that's described in those videos. And the feeling of, just playing, because you still thought you were a separate being, you see. This is when you identify with the body and form. When you believe you are a separate entity, being, thing, you've identified you're not as oneness, you haven't really realized that you are that, you are eternity, existence itself. What you will experience, because you still believe you're separate, right? So of course, even though the body's dead, you're still identifying as, I'm a separate soul. So this one had energy, so it was playing and making its energy into a ball, and this is how I tested that prison planet nonsense theory out. Because then you realize the prison planet story falls away. Because you can move that energy and expand into anything, pulse it in and get through anything. But if you believe you can't, you won't. See, everything is a belief and thought. So this played with all these, it played with all these things. It played with up the tunnel of light to heaven. It went up that one. It did all these things. It saw all these souls and holding patterns and all kinds of weird things. So you realize now, as the gurus tell you, all of it is in the Maya. Near-death experiences, reincarnation, all of this is part of the Maya. The story just continues because now you are focused, like this one, believed it was a separate soul, it was focusing on all the stories, but it never paid attention to who was perceiving it. Only afterwards you're thinking, hang on a second, you remember there was a memory of being watched. So when you recall the picture of what was seen, right, there was this soul, me, this dead entity, this illusion, this soul, this light, whatever. You realize there was nothing there, but it was just an imagined. There it was, but it was looking down. Something was watching it, looking down and getting all excited and choosing and all these lives and wow, this is fun, you know, whatever. You see, because you believe you're a soul and you're going to come back and you're having all these lives. This is part of the separate identity and belief in the body, because if the body falls away, you believe you're separate already. You've got to carry on, right? So you're going to create a reincarnation. This is why people say they're stuck in the Maya. You are creating the cycle of reincarnation because your thing here is identified with a separate being. So it's going to automatically, because you are the God source, manifest another body to play in. Because you think I've got to play in, I've got to work my way up to this level and that dimension and this and that, and I want to. You see, if you believe there are separate entities and souls and beings, because this is a story, and you've identified that, you will keep carnating. You are creating the near-death experience, the reincarnation experience, as much as you're creating this experience. You see? As the gurus tell you, there is no death, no life. There's no one ever born, no one ever died. That's all in the dream, part of a separate soul, a separate me. That's all part of duality. And when they tell you what is perceiving, you cannot be it. So if you're perceiving it, you cannot be it. And only afterwards, because a few years later, when you started the non-dual path and you started seeing this and was shown it and all these things, and you realize everything's here now, and much was shown. Same with the body. Start asking. Realize you even know. You know this body's dead. You're not interested. If you believed your mother or Joe was right, when that body died, you would keep the body. Look, they did in the tombs. Look at Egypt as a good example. They put them in golden sarcophaguses and tombs, and they worshipped the bodies. Big tombs and memorials and gold things and whatever else, because they were so identified with the form. You'd fallen out of the oneness. Because you wouldn't care. It's a body. Why do you think you burn it or cremate it? It's just, you know that beingness is no longer there. What is it? Energy. That's why they can't measure it. It's like you see. Same with ghosts. It's an energy imprint, as they say. Everything, that's exactly what you are. When there's such a strong experience, you're creating an energy imprint. Like this as well. It's a whole lot of thoughts and things. Here's another example, just awareness. For those that are on the awakened path, just to know, this is a story. Why then, if you reincarnate, you believe there's a separate you, right? I'm a soul, I'm this, and I'm a light worker, right? You die, you know, you're believing all these separate lives. There's no time there, so that you can't have a past life. They're all happening right now. But you drop back, like, is this one experience? You'll die, because you believe that. You're focusing on your separate things. Of course, you're going to seek another body. You are doing it. No one's doing it. No one's trapping you. It's only the awareness and belief, you see. So if you believe you're a separate thing, you are going to seek another body, to another story to reincarnate in. And you're projecting these stories already and manifesting. You're already projecting the new earth and new lives and future lives. So of course, guess what? You're going to manifest and you know, you actually sources manifesting forms. This is a manifestation. Everything here is a manifestation, appearance in it. So here's a clue. It's so obvious that you are not a body or a separate anything, right? Because if you die, which you know, this is why you say you've seen other lives and past lives, right? Exactly. You are not the body or the story. The story that happened here to Mary or Joe, right? Let's say my life. The story that happened here to Mary, all right, has got bugger all to do with you, because when the body dies, guess what? How come you come back? This is why you believe you have other lives, and you've had you experience. Well, this is a dream, so it's happening now. You're tapping into. I was a Palladian. I was this. I was a whatever, right? Atlantean priestess. Okay, so you're dropping in, and you're getting that experience in the astral. No physical experience, we notice, but energetically tapping in, this and that, whatever. Your experience, because you're so solid, you don't realize this is exactly the same. That experience. How come you yourself will say, I've got all these different lives, you've been a male, a female, you've played all kinds of things, non-human beings, that, right? Different sex, whole different story. So what happens? The story dies and stays with the body. You're getting the hint already. The story dies and stays with the body. So if the story dies, if this life, when this body dies, this story that happened here, that stays here. It's gone. That's it. It's history. It's what you want to call history, which is just thoughts. So when this body dies, all there will be is a story, is history. What is history? Words, thoughts about this body. What happens? Off you go. Ooh, I need another. Ooh, and reincarnate. Choose another story and body. Especially if you've manifested and visualized and planning the new earth. Guess what? When you die, you're going to be that consciousness. You're thinking, and poof, and you're going to straight away find yourself creating a new form. And poof, next minute you're back in the Maya in another body, and I'm Mary now, and and this and a whole new life, new story. So that already tells you. When the body dies, you don't want to keep it in your house, because hey, John's not there. What I want, it's just a body. Ugh. You don't want anything to do with the body. Look how you're actually repulsed by the body. First of all, because it's not there, it's just dead. It's just a dead body. The person's no longer there. The essence of what was, that is not there. Because there's only energy. The energy which keeps the body alive, which moves it, which keeps it warm, has gone. You are that energy. You are pure energy. And when you start asking and seeking and questioning it, I'm not the body, and say, reflecting on what I'm saying, testing it, reflect it, look, seek it, and you will be shown, and you'll be like, holy shit. Because if you focus and realize that, the self will show you, literally, and you'll be like, wow, hey, there'll be no doubt, not the body. These are pointers to show you. When this character dies, there's going to be a couple of pictures. There's in the Maya, for those left in the Maya. There we are in the story, and that's it. As you say, look, I've had a different life, and I was this and that. Exactly, you had a whole different story and different form. So that already tells you what happens to the bodies and the stories are not you. Because you can just change stories and forms. But that's also not you. You understand? There's a micro and mini. What's manifesting? You're manifesting now. You're learning. This is why you're waking up to the self. It's a macro reception. You're taught here to release all the shit, to change the story to positive. Manifestation, law of attraction, yes, you can. So you are already learning. You are creating your reality. You're manifesting. But you're forgetting what is creating this. You see, you think... if you believe you identified, I am Mary, I'm the body, and this is my story, I'm manifesting, I'm creating this, I'm going to create a car, I'm manifesting a new job, and I'm going to manifest whatever, okay, this is what's happening big time now. There is a drive by the one to change the whole story to positive. You are driven to manifest and focus on abundance, and blah, 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 blah. This is a big, see, Siri, they're all copying each other. There's no individual, this is a story. Siri is moving, all these thoughts, so they're all doing the same thing. All these on these frequency are, drawn to the same story, same action, same thoughts, same blah, 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 blah. There we are. So, you're already getting the point. You see, that's a story. The minute you believe you're a separate one, you are going to seek another form, because you're always identified with the form. This is why they tell you stop focusing on it and pull back to quietness, because then if the mind is so trained to think and thoughts and believe and follow the story, when the body disappears, guess what? As I said, I just explained to you, the character, the thoughts, everything was still there. So what? These are what they call samsaras or tendencies or whatever they call them in different ones, vasanas, samskaras and tendencies. That is there. That is there. Yeah, that is there, very clear. So what happens? Guess what? You've been used to this. You're going to be drawn to, because you now think you are, so now you're going to be right. You're going to expect to reincarnate and looking for that timeline of that story. So it's just a copy, but you're forgetting what is creating this. What's creating this? What's manifest? If you know that everything's manifest, you're creating your reality. Now you realize that. Joe Dispenza showing you. But you are still identified as this. Joe is I'm creating my life. You see, this is the me thought. But who is creating this? Who is creating everything? That you is invisible. Nothing. It is only energy. It's just when it's identified in a single form and believed is separate, it's caused a reflection, a shadow. This is, have you noticed? It's actually even given to you. Look at you. When you walk, there's a shadow. If the light is there, there's a shadow. You cast a shadow. This is caused a shadow in the consciousness and awareness by believing it, causing a shadow and reflecting an image. There's the Maya, the mirror. So when you believe it, you're going to create another form. But we never question who is creating the form, who is manifesting. That's it. Everything. And even Dolores Cannon says, you are creating everything. That you is that invisible energy that moves this body. It'll give you a demonstration if you start asking, like I said, look at the pointers, thinking about it, and you realize, oh shit, of course I'm not. But you are so identified, this is my life, I'm doing this, and I'm manifesting, I'm doing, doing. You see? And then you, poof, die, jump into another body, create another whole story. So what happened to Mary? Mary's life. There's nothing to do with you. They're stories. This is not your story, not your body. The body's innocent, actually. You've identified with it. There's nothing there. So yeah, so why we don't exactly keep the bodies, and put them in our wardrobes when the character has left, the energy that keeps it alive, that moves it. You have no control over your body. You don't even control your bowel movements, unless you consciously you can now consciously start practicing it. But the body does everything. Gets up, goes to the toilet, moves, does everything, everything, and without pay attention, thought, or you doing it. You are not beating the heart. You don't sit there and say, all right, now we're going to beat, if you were, you'd be like, okay, let's make the heartbeat 2 seconds per minute, or let's make that, you see. When you consciously, as Wim Hof is doing, start focusing on doing something, yes, you can change it. Because exactly, the awareness, God's source, creating the Maya, is now consciously changing the body. Yes, you can do that with conscious awareness. But the rest of the time, are you aware? Not at all. The body moves, walks, gets up, goes to the toilet. There's no thought, okay, at 10 o'clock, I'm going to make a bowel movement. You don't plan your bowel movements. You don't plan your heartbeats. You don't plan your breathing. It just goes on. And that is enough clue that there's no one here. If you are not, that means you, whatever you are, is not the actual body. Because if it was, you would be aware and doing it. You are not the doer, as they always say. There is no doer. There is no doer. You are not doing anything the body is doing. Although you've been blamed for everything. And that's why they say change the story. Because if you change the program, you're not going to create things here and suffer for. There we are. The story is being created. That's it. And while there's a body of form here, it's able to be changed. But when you move back to oneness, you stop all experience. You've now chosen to go back to being source. All experience disappears. As I'll tell you, the body completely moves on its own. And when you start doing this inquiry and asking, as this one did, and you're shown, and then you also see how this is, you, the self, will show you. Then you're like, wow. Then you'll laugh. You realize it's never your body. Whatever the body does, you are not doing anything. Never were. And when you inquire about these thoughts, you'll see everything goes back to emptiness, nothingness, nothingness. You will always find nothing. When the so-called body dies, what do they see? There's no difference. You can't even, it's like such a small weight. It's a 1 gram or something. That's the energy. The energy, as they say, that permeates everything is actually you. We never question this. Who's manifesting this? Who's watching this? You are creating, you are it itself, the universe, the existence itself, it creating everything. This, the tree, all appearances, everything that appears in it, that is it. If you're so focused on this, when you're believing the I thought, you'll pay attention to this. All the thoughts are about you. All retains around. It's very annoying actually when you pay attention. You will see, this is what's keeping you focused. As they say, expanded source is nothing, is complete emptiness. And when you tap into a guru, those that are able to connect, when you tap into one that is back in oneness, you feel. You cannot even send energy to a body or form because they've relinquished that and it's vanished, as they'll tell you. The body just moves on its own. There's nothing. There's no body. There's nobody there. No, there's really nobody there. They've moved back into that. They've dropped this perception, so the energy is expanded as though you died. As they tell you, it's death before death. There is no one in that body. There's an empty form as it is. There's no reflection, so they're not perceiving the Maya. There's just an empty form that is there. That you will see. You can tap into it. This is why when you want to get on the Christ consciousness path, you meditate with the Guru. You be in their presence. You join the Zooms, because it's the energy and frequency and vibration which is now you are tuning into and you are feeling and tapping in. That is what wakes you up. Everything is about the energy, frequency, and vibration. And you will tap into them and you will be aware. No one is there. There's nothing. There's no one. That's a confirmation for you, like, wow, okay, wow. They are in that place of nothingness. So when they tell you experience ended, that's why experience no one, when they tell you there's no experiencer, because there isn't. They've chosen to stop playing in the Maya. They're tired. They've returned back to themselves. There's watching, but there's no one doing it. You see, there's no experiencer anymore. The experience is only created, and that's why the mirror, the reflection of a face, the illusion is there, is because there's a belief and identification with here. Yeah, nothing wrong with it. That's it. There's no time. So anyways, yeah. You see, so start asking and start looking into this body thing. Thinking on it, reflect on it, ask questions, ask source. You know what I mean? Ask the self. Think. Who is the body? Whose body is it? It's just obvious anyway. It's why you see why you reject the body as soon as your loved one dies. You don't want to keep the body, take it home. No. That loved one's not there. It's just a body. Exactly. It's a body. And let yourself show you that you got nothing to do with this body and its movements or anything. And when you see they're not your thoughts too, just follow the thoughts. They come from nothing. Ask any of these things. Start seeking. You go back, it's nothing. No one, nothing. All right. So there's a good one. Watch what you listen to, tap into. If you want to achieve, tired of this, start following those, listening to those that are there. Because the frequency is not going to come to the mind. It's not going to come to the illusionary self, because that's a thought as well. It will go, the energy, which is hiding in here, invisible, the self that's moving this form, will feel, vibrate, and is listening to that talk, to that non-dual. So as maybe you won't understand it in the beginning, you won't get it, it will annoy you in the path you'll learn. You'll be, what are they talking about? And you're going to try. You see, there's that belief that it slowly goes away. It's fun. You're going to have fun on the path, because they say the belief and program is very strong here. But it falls away, literally. It starts, because that energy and the real one eventually is like the frequency vibration is being transmitted, and slowly you start, I know, now you get it. There was a laugh even here. Just think of the irony. Insult, actually. In the Bible it tells you thou shalt not idolize, right? What's this? What's this? Everybody idolizes. Me, myself, I. What is this thing? Everybody believes this, the vision they have. I did this, I achieved this, it's my company, my wealth, my job, I am successful. Me. You see, it does. And you laugh. You think, actually, the cheek of it. When you realize there's only it. When you ask and seek it, there's only it in existence. Literally, it will show you. There's nothing. And then you realize how cheeky and how it's not. Yes, it's fun. You're gonna get rid of it. You start it, as I say, it really starts falling away. But you've got to start questioning. Seek, who's this I thought? Ask where the I thought comes from. Who's this I? Where's it come from? Now you know you're not the body. That's a good one to start. That will help a lot. The minute you know you're not the body and it's shown to you, wow, boy, that's going to make life a lot easier. Then you're like, wow. So you won't identify with this story. Ask my, because who owns it? Does the body own it? Who owns this stuff? But the cheek is that the I claims everything. I did this. I healed that one. I did that. Blah, 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 blah. This one laughed in the shower today when it realized the cheekiness of this illusionary self, Okay, it's still, there's only one here. But this thought, it believes it's a separate thing. It does nothing. It has no power. There's only one. Everything comes from nothingness. It is the body. That's what I'm saying. There's an empty body. Is doing nothing. Check what happens when that energy moves. The body is stiff as anything. No movement, no life there. But the I thought is so arrogant if you listen to it. Even today I watched it. It tries to always refer everything to its experience, its life, its story. Using as an example. It tries to claim gratitude, glory, fame, everything. It tries to claim it as the character. It does. It's an empty body. That's the joke of it. The body, it doesn't even. If it even is, it isn't. The body isn't even its. That's the joke. It believes it's something. It's a thought. It's a thought. Start questioning your body. And I've given you all the pointers now. You realize, oh wow, exactly. Hang on a second. I just jump into another body and make a whole new life story. I connect. Even the carnation thing. Now, hopefully this, as I say, this will start. Take another layer of that awareness, that shadow, that illusion away. All right. Now you're able to get up another layer, realizing, hang on a second, yeah, you're identifying with this story of this life so much as though it's your life, your body. Absolutely not at all. Because the minute you leave it, you're not worried about the story or that. It stays with the body completely. You have no interest in it. You don't even think about it. You're so believing you're a thing, you're going to start, all your focus will be on is carnating and looking for the next body. That's the problem. There's no one making you carnate, you are. It's just because you've identified, you think that's it, that's what you are. So you have to carnate because this is what's going on. No. You forget, well, who's manifesting this thing and everything? No, you don't die. Nobody dies, that's the thing. Yeah. Yes, exactly. There we are. Well, the source is driving it. That's what I'm saying. There isn't, yeah. And now you see, when you believe you're a separate one, you're maintaining it. But when that experience falls away, the body just those that now carry on with this practice and the illusion falls away. There's no more experience, so there's no doer at all. There's no one doing it. The body does it on their own. They are well aware they are not doing anything. They are not maintaining the body. There's no they. That's the difference. This is where we're going to. These are probably why this stuff is being shared. Someone's guided to share a lot of this, share this journey, share the stories, because they're examples. And it's actually quite funny when you realize it's so obvious, So yeah, you have no, you're not going to be attached to the body. So start asking, start seeing, start questioning, start seeking these thoughts, let them permeate, and then ask, and you'll be shown. Okay. There we are. So you don't have to worry even the story. It's a choice to identify with the story. See, you don't have to. You can go back to oneness, to the self, and stop identifying. First of all, when you realize they're not your body and they're not your thoughts, that will give you space. Now your awareness is going to be not focused on the story so much. As I say, it pulls back and you will start seeing through the illusion of the story much easier. This is why the sharing is happening here. So the veil and the story can be seen through. So we can actually awaken. Because you're still sleeping. Because we're still perceiving a reflection. There's still duality. You see? Well, a belief in it. There we are. This, not anymore, but yeah. We're working on that, yeah. There's no working, but yeah. There's a knowing. That's what I say. It's been shown, it's seen, and there's just that. There's no doubt about this is not, this body is definitely doing its own thing. It's got nothing to do, and there we are. That was seen, it was demonstrated, and many other things, because you ask. When you start seeking back to the self, depends on you. What are you focusing and what are you seeking? If you're seeking the stories and playing the Maya and the New Earth and incarnating and going back, yes. The one was still playing, it's still moving through. It's still... This is only a puppet. The source is, as you notice, look at all the light workers. They're all getting the same downloads, same story. They're guided to do the same thing. Look at the light worker movement. Detox, eat this, drink a lot of water, do yoga, do this, do that, all doing the same thing. Look at all alcoholics, all doing the same thing. You see, Siri, it's not by any computer, it's by the one. But we don't ever question who is manifesting this, who's controlling this. You just take for granted that this one is the one. That's just where the mistake is. This is the doer. This one is doing that, and no. The invisible essence, energy that permeates everything, that is the one. Moving the body. Everything. Watching this whole show. So there we are. Okay. So the rebirth, reincarnation thing is still part of the Maya. Also part of the story. All different lives and births are all part of the story. Anything that's in a form is different, are part of the story. It's all part of the dream. There's so many dreams going on. That's it. Fascinating. So there's no claiming here. It's actually, you just find it actually almost insulting. That there's a separate. It's only when you realize it's only a thought you laugh. Even that thought you realize it's cheeky. I mean bloody cheek. Actually, very much of a cheek to think. Who's this thing? It's a thought. But, yes, you understand, same thing. There's no one doing it. There's only the one too. You see, there's only source. But in order to have a real experience, if it's you, you're not really going to have it, obviously. You see, it creates an experience by pretending it's something else. But now it's tired of that game. So it's waking itself up, you see. It's only the self, only the one here. It is doing everything. The Maya, it's doing it. The belief, the I thought is it. Because there's nothing else. So it's time to wake up, because it's obviously deciding this is a story, and same thing, it's waking up its action figures in the dream to know it. It's a choice too. Some want to continue, and there's many different stories, as you notice. There's many different stories being created now. I think the Earth story got boring. It was just on one frequency, one vibration, it was very much controlled. It was purely on the ego, pure of the mind. And it was demonstrated by one ruler. That's why you had kings. One dominating all. The mind dominated the form completely. And it was in such density that it completely disconnected. It was, unaware of itself. And that's why it was reflected in its reality. You had one ruler. You had kings and conquerors that conquered everything. Because there was no two. Now there's an awareness. As it wakes up, you've got a higher self. In the dream, you're starting to be aware that this is... And there's this other, which you are seeking the ego to do away with. This, it's the mind, it's the program. That's all it is, and it is only true and stays there because there is a belief. It's a thought, and a belief that it is. This is a sharing for that now to start, being seen through. All right, there we are. And when you watch it, it's like, wow, okay. But then also, you don't try and fight. Same with this. It wants to share. It's like you don't try and control anymore. It's really got this urge to share it, and when you know there's nothing here, even though it's using a separate, character, There we are. It is using the character to share the story. There's no one, that is well understood. Oh, just known. Just it's known. It's just yeah. It's a complete truth here. Love for it. Self-love or whatever. All right, lovely. Time to go now. I've made 2. I must watch the time because I want to end this one as well. Yes. All right. I want to make sure we don't go over time. I can't upload these to YouTube if they go too far. And I'm still trying to get the last 2. I'm now on a different software because this IT skills are not here. Not here. Not, they went for something. So now we got to figure out how the hell I have to split that video and upload it to YouTube. Just because they're new things. If you're not part of their creator membership now, YouTube, you can't upload videos that are longer than an hour, 1 gigabyte. You're welcome. Welcome. It's you. That's what I'm saying. It's wanting to change your story and it's waking itself up. All these different, dream stories that are going on. Some are not going to. Obviously, you can see they're choosing. Who knows? It's still only one doing it though. Mind-boggling, actually. Absolutely mind-boggling. But there's no, you see, there we are. It's great. It's just, yeah, there we are. Whatever reflection it uses. It's just you. It's the self helping the self wake up. It's just through a different form it's using. You see, however it comes, there's only ever one doing it. Don't look at this. There's no, you say, you thank you. This is, I believe, there isn't a separate one here doing bugger all. Cheeky little shit that even thought about it. Oh, you see that? This thing, and how it hides as well, anyway. All right. There's love for the self here. There's amazement, actually, absolute amazement. You can't even begin to fathom, get your mind around how infinite. There's no knowledge, at that level you don't need to know anything. That's why they say there's just nothingness and silence. There's no knowledge needed there. There's no knowledge, no wisdom, because there's nothing. There's nothing to know. What do you want to know? There's only you. There's nothing going on, nothing happening. That's the ultimate level. Thank you, peace. No experience, no knowledge, no thing, nothing happening, nothing ever did. Peace. That's the end of the story. It's a rest from this constant story, Let's time out. Wow. No more character. But in the Maya, well, busy. It's infinite. Because infinite possibilities. Because literally, you choose it. When it creates a character, that character is picking every single thought, frequency, and it creates a story by picking those, as we said. All right, so start questioning. Whose body? Start reflecting and realizing. Do I plan when I want to go to the toilet? Do I plan, how many breaths? Am I like scheduling my breaths? And let my heart beat now. It's so much a minute. And no, nothing. Not even you die. If it was your body, how come you're not, choosing? You get there when you realize who you are. Okay. You are the one who is creating, who has manifested all of this. Everything. Everything that's appearing, that is you. You are watching this. This is your puppet, not you though. This is a form that, that's appeared in you. There we are. You're just a manifestation, infinite nothingness. Amazing. Incredible. Pure love. It's just, as they say, unconditional. It's unconditional. You create whatever. It creates whatever it wants to create, and there's no boundaries, there's no limits. Because nothing really happens. So there's no, no harm can come to anything because it's a dream. All of it. Even the death and reincarnation. Now when you think back and laugh, and I mean, well, but it was a lovely experience. It was a nice break from the body there. Wow, because that energy just was exactly, that density was like, oh you're free. Such freedom from this density. Because you were so densified in this, when you're so contracted, that's what they say, there's contraction. The minute, gurus don't have that, poof, there's no form. The form vanishes because that contraction, identification with this thing has fallen away. So there's just, wow, expansiveness. And as you will notice that now, as the more you rise on this path, as you wake up, the more you're feeling that. You're tapping into that. Why do you think source? You're talking to nothing. You're feeling nothing. You're communicating with no thing, source. The energy, frequency, you know that. Intuitively, you're communicating with nothing. It has no form. That's you that you're talking to. You just, the filter, the body is just filtering it into words and thoughts and things, but it's nothing. There we are. It's objects and words that have been filtered through this thing that's creating it. All right. Which is only a thought, huh? Mind-blowing. All right, lots of love. Bye.